Hello, and a very warm welcome to you all. Today, we're diving into a truly beautiful and inspiring explainer based on a fantastic guide by the Onjob Training Academy. It's called Why and How Education is One of the Best Gifts to Daughters. We're going to focus on one absolutely crucial question today. How exactly does education build a daughter's confidence and her ability to make good decisions? It's a profound connection, really. So let's just jump right in. We so often misunderstand what confidence actually looks like. We tend to think it means being the loudest person in the room or somehow magically never making a mistake. But true confidence? It's completely different. It doesn't come from just being born with a bold personality or being right 100% of the time. Actually, it comes from the quiet courage to say, hey, I might be wrong here, but I am absolutely willing to learn. So what is it really? True confidence is absolutely not arrogance. It's not pride. It is that quiet, steady inner belief that says, I can learn, I can adapt, and I can handle whatever comes my way. And how does a daughter build that kind of belief? Well, step by step. Every single page she reads, every question she bravely raises her hand to ask in class, every math problem she solves, it all adds this unbreakable layer of strength to her character. Education literally gives her that calm courage.
All right, let's move right into our first major theme, turning fear into clarity.
Take Sneha, for example. She grew up very shy, very soft-spoken. When her teacher first asked her to give a short presentation, she was literally trembling. But she prepared. She learned the material. And you know what? The next time, she actually volunteered. Fast forward to today, and she is a confident, incredibly well-spoken radio presenter. Her journey didn't start with some innate magical talent. It started with the quiet confidence that careful preparation brings. The unknown is just so much less scary when knowledge lights the way.
Or think about Neelam. Imagine her family suddenly hitting a financial crisis. Without any background knowledge, the natural reaction is just absolute panic, right? But Neelam had learned basic economics in college. So instead of panicking, she sat down, created a household budget, cut out the unnecessary expenses, and helped her family apply for government relief schemes. Her education instantly turned panic into actionable clarity. She understood the system, so the fear just faded away.
Which brings us to our next point, the decision-making muscle. You see, decision-making is literally like a muscle. It grows the more you use it, and education provides the daily gym for this muscle. Just look at everyday student life. Choosing which subjects to take, handling disagreements in a messy group project, managing time between exams and hobbies, or figuring out why a test didn't go well and trying again. These small daily choices completely prepare a daughter to make life's biggest decisions bravely. Let's talk about Arti for a second. She's sitting there with two job offers. One is right nearby but with pretty low pay. The other is much farther away but pays really well. A purely emotional choice might be to just take what's closest because the commute seems scary. But Arti's logical, educated mind took over. She listed the pros and cons, ran the numbers on her expenses, talked it over with mentors, and made a really structured, wise choice. She owned her decision. And this kind of structured thinking, it gives a daughter a real superpower, the power of negotiation. Aditi's parents really wanted her to go into a traditional medical career, but Aditi was deeply passionate about law. Rather than just fighting with them or silently giving up, she did her research. She compared her passion with future prospects and presented a highly analytical, respectful case to her parents. They were so blown away by her logic that they actually agreed. It all comes down to this absolutely crucial truth. An educated mind learns not what to think, but how to think. An educated daughter learns the invaluable skill of critical thinking. She isn't just going to blindly follow the crowd. She pauses, she reasons, she evaluates the facts, and then she decides.
Now, let's explore the emotional pillars of this confidence: resilience and self-respect. Communication plays a massive role here. Consider Kritika. She used to be incredibly nervous about interviews, but she leaned into her college workshops to practice her communication skills. Eventually, she found herself in a major corporate meeting, and she was the one whose clear suggestions were actually guiding the senior managers. She realized that her education gave her way more than a degree. It gave her a powerful voice to speak clearly, respectfully, and firmly. Because when a daughter gets an education, she really discovers who she is. She doesn't need anyone else to define her worth. Just look at Nisha. After finishing her MBA, she was offered a job paying significantly less than her male peers. It's so easy to fall into the trap of accepting that out of desperation, but Nisha flat out rejected it. She chose dignity and self-respect over an unfair system. Her education gave her the power to demand fairness because she knew her true worth. And you know what? That self-respect naturally blossoms into true leadership. When Anu was managing a college team and two members started arguing, a poor leader might have just shouted at them to stop. But Anu used her education-backed emotional intelligence. She sat them down, used empathy, listened to both sides, and resolved it all peacefully. She chose peace over pride. But hey, what happens when things inevitably go wrong? Because they do. Confidence doesn't mean you never fall. It means you know how to stand back up. Manju actually failed her first year of engineering. It was a huge setback. But instead of throwing in the towel, she applied her educated mindset. She analyzed exactly which subjects were weak, changed how she studied, and made an incredible comeback to pass with distinction. As the saying goes, failure teaches what success hides. Education shows daughters that failing is never the end of the road. It's just part of the process. Every failed exam, every tough interview is just a stepping stone, a profound teacher that completely strengthens her resolve for whatever comes next. That leads us beautifully into our next section, inspiring the community. Just look at the incredible ripple effect of one bold decision. Over in a small village in UP, Lata became the very first female police officer. Her courage, which was born entirely from her learning, broke through generations of silence. And because she stood tall, over 20 local girls in her area are now pursuing higher education themselves. When you educate one daughter, you literally light up an entire village. So, when you put all these stories together, you see this amazing, never-ending feedback loop. Education gives knowledge. That knowledge brings clarity. Clarity builds quiet confidence. Confidence leads to good decisions, and every single good decision brings new learning, starting the whole beautiful engine of personal growth all over again. As we wrap up this explainer, let's shift to a guide for the future. To all the parents watching right now, please let your daughters make small decisions early on. Whether it's picking her hobbies or her subjects, guide her, absolutely, but try not to control her. A daughter who practices making choices will never be lost. Remember, every single time you tell her, "I trust your judgment," you are watering the seed of her lifelong independence. And to every daughter listening, never, ever be afraid to make mistakes. They are just how we grow wise. Be your own guide. Speak up when you need to, listen when it's wise, and map out your own path with immense pride. Let your confidence be soft, not loud. Let it be steady. And above all, let it be earned. I'll leave you with this one final, incredibly powerful thought. Education doesn't just teach us facts. It teaches us self-trust. Education doesn't give wings. It reminds you that you already have them. It simply unlocks that magnificent inherent strength that has been inside of you all along. If you found this explainer as inspiring and vital as I did, I really encourage you to dive deeper. You can grab the complete ebook, Why and How Education is One of the Best Gifts to Daughters, by scanning the QR code or checking the link in the description. It's an entire lifetime of guidance from the Onjob Training Academy, available for just a one-time payment. Thank you so much for learning with us today. Keep learning, keep growing, and keep trusting your wings.